Rescuers cry that help is on the way, but so very many people need it. The images are chilling. A hand in a window, two men in an attic. The survivors' needs are as staggering as their endurance.
We got up this morning, it was just wind and rain, and all of a sudden the water just started rising.
As day dissolves into night, a couple shares their escape. Her words and his expression say it all.
We went to the door to check the water, check outside. We went back inside, and in a moment's time, we just said we're going to walk to the door. The water was rising.
With no way to reach authorities, they come to us. An exhausted, dejected Mayor Nagin arrives at 10 p.m.
My heart is heavy tonight. I don't have any good news to really share.
Instead, he provides perspective. As dire a situation as we have been reporting all day, we had no idea the scope. Our crews couldn't physically get to the hardest hit areas.
New Orleans is in a state of devastation. We probably have 80% of our city underwater. With some sections of our city, the water is as deep as 20 feet.
He runs down a list from hell. Bodies are floating in the water, he says. People are trapped on roofs. Gas lines are erupting, fires are breaking, the airports are flooded, the twin spans are gone. And somewhere in the litany,
we have a serious levee break at the 17th Street Canal.
The enormity of the levee breaches is almost too great to comprehend, but won't be for long. The city that is under siege will soon be underwater. Tuesday, August 30th. Day 4 of our coverage begins with the jolt. The storm, and therefore the worst, was behind us, we thought. We were wrong.
We have a very difficult situation in the city of New Orleans because 2 drainage canal levees were breached and water is pouring into the city.
A colleague reports the roads that were dry yesterday are flooded today. The water is coming, he warns. Our staff heads to higher ground, much higher. We caravan to the West Bank and set up shop in our transmitter in Gretna.
Around 7:30 or so, we got the word that we had better get out of the French Quarter area, our studios in the French Quarter, or we could be trapped by this water.
Yeah, I think when many people went to bed last night in this area,
right,
where there wasn't water, and to wake up to water, and to wake up to rising water, it was certainly disconcerting.
The first aerials revealed the scope of the damage.
Oh my gosh. It's hard to believe that we're witnessing this kind of flooding.
Colleagues who've spent decades covering storms convey their shock in unfiltered words. It's been more than 24 hours, and people are still trapped in homes and stranded in streets. They are hot, hungry, and some are growing desperate.
A lot of people taking a lot of things, and it's not just food and water and supplies, but it's electronics, it's whatever they can get. As you can see inside this, I think this is a Walgreens on St. Charles, in fact.
Similar scenes unfold downtown. With no jail and no way to get them there, police issue warnings to looters, often at gunpoint. Under a growing threat of rising water, martial law is enacted in much of the region.
And if you're able to see this, just as I said, for haul ass to get out of town, because it's going to give it a lot of work before it gets better.
FEMA establishes a staging area in a Metairie parking lot. There are search and rescue teams, cadaver dogs, and military meals, but not nearly enough of anything.
Sheriff Fairley making a plea to anybody out there with boats. They are desperately needed.
Black Hawk helicopters fly overhead, but they're involved in rescue missions. The focus is on the living, not the levee breaches. That afternoon, we see the 17th Street Canal for the first time. The breach is 400 feet wide, longer than a football field. Ton Trung has just seen it.
This happened somewhere around 10 o'clock yesterday morning, but the word, because of the lack of communication, nobody could really get that word to anybody else. So
the task to repair the breach is colossal. Since 2 p.m., a single helicopter has been dropping sandbags, 2 at a time.
So that helicopter has to go and refuel, and what you're getting now is just a one helicopter mission.
The helicopter logs a lot of miles, but gets nowhere. Neighbors in Lakeview begin to fend for themselves and others.
Look how tired that dog is.
Yeah,
that dog
we don't know
cannot
how long.
The images are hard to swallow. The levee breach, in one unending gulp, has drowned entire neighborhoods and an untold number of souls.
And the situation for firefighters now is they don't know who is missing, who is evacuated, and what these people are telling me, they're tying corpses to the poles.
At the I-10-610 split, one of the busiest forks in the interstate, is now a bowl and a boat launch. From here, rescuers go out and survivors return.
It was hell, man. A lot of water, all the houses flooding, a lot of people screaming. It was really bad. What I did this morning, I left the house and I swam up to Florida Boulevard.
The stories reveal an endurance mentality. The calamity is far from over, as we're about to learn from breaking news in Algiers.
Desperation. This is right. Desperation. We're talking about shooting a cop.
A looter has just shot a police officer. The video is raw, and so are emotions.
An officer came up on it and confronted one of the looters, and another looter came up behind him and apparently shot the officer in the back of the head.
Tension seems to rise with the mercury. In the dome, where people have been living for 3 days in the dark, food and water are running out. With no power, no AC, and no working toilets, many opt to endure the triple-digit heat outdoors rather than the stench inside.
Yesterday, we had no communication with you guys.
In Baton Rouge, reporter Mike Ross has just made it back with some of the first pictures out of Slidell.
This is the road that leads to the Highway 11 bridge into the Eden Isles area.
The images are growing surreal. Storm survivors who rode it out are now moving out with